Good evening, Toastmasters. As our Toastmaster of the evening said, my initial title was I Am Mister. And there's an interesting reason why I actually chose for that title in the beginning. I've done some research, and all over the world, when they are introducing themselves, as I'm doing today to the Toastmasters members, there are different ways to do that. For example, in the United States, it's very common to say, "Hi, my name is Joe," and then say with whom you are working with. I work for Google, I work for Twitter. So you would say, "I am Nesta, I work for the company called Nesta." Now then I thought, I should do it differently. I should just say who I am. I am Abdelouahid. And just a couple weeks back, I was having a cup of tea just over there. Me and Wendy got on talking that I actually never had my introduction, official introduction. My first two speeches were about completely different topics that were on growth, but not really on who I am. I always tend to find it quite scary, especially when you're sitting in the office and everyone has to say who he is and what he does, and my heartbeat starts to go up. So I thought I should take this challenge and say who I am and tell something about me, Abdelouahid. To choose over the wide range of topics I could tell about myself, I thought about your speeches, Wendy, that you had previously that were quite focused on yoga or spirituality, and I thought by myself, I am also quite spiritual. There's quite a strong background that I have that defines me, who I am, my identity, with spirituality. So let's start there. Well, and come back to my name, Abdelouahid. It's a very long name, consists of 11 letters. But if you break it down, it's Abdel and Wahid. So the first Abdel in Arabic means the slave of God or the obedient of God. And the second Wahid is the one, so God. And there are actually 99 different names of God, which I have one. My brother has another one, and then we have 97 more. But what is this spirituality, and how is actually started with my birth, given the name given by my grandmother, that actually kept this red thread throughout my life, where spirituality has been a very strong part of my life. That has always made me dream and think of going to the place where it all started, where the religion that I part of, Islam, started. And that was in Mecca, a very small town in the beginning, far, far away in the desert. And I thought, how would I go there? Well, simply, I mounted my camel to Schiphol Airport, and from there I took the Airbus 737 with very nice seats and a very nice dinner to Mecca. And I want to take you with me through this journey, because what I experienced there is something that really has stayed with me, and I as a person have grown with that. And basically, when you go to Mecca, there's a couple of items or a couple of scenarios that you need to go through in order for you to complete the voyage that you have to do there. And I remember the first thing that I had to do once I arrived there. You basically have to wear the ihram. And ihram means two pieces of cloth, just white towels basically, that you wrap around you, one on the upper, one below, and then nothing else underneath it. So you can imagine how tight I had to fasten my lower towel. And the idea behind it is that one is very equal to all the other people that are there. So at times during the year we have average of 100,000 people visiting at the same moment. But there is once a year, which is called the Hajj, we have 3 million people visiting and doing exactly the same thing. All of us. Just to give you an idea, if one would go to a football match, and we say we go with all of us to the Arena, Amsterdam, I think we can fit in 80, 90,000 at the tops. And then we're all watching this game where 22 people are playing and running after a ball. In this case, you have 3 million people that are all doing the same over and over again. So imagine the number of people that you would see in front of you, in the left, right, and behind you. Then there is something that also remained with me after I completed this journey. There's a very special part in the Mecca, so there's a big black stone. And whenever I used to think about the black stone and praying during the day, I used to put my prayer mat, and there was always the small logo of the black stone. And I always kept in my mind, it's probably a small stone. But on entering the big mosque, you have to go on a couple of steps, and then again a couple of steps, and you cannot see it until you reach further down in the mosque. And out of the nothing, a big building in black arises. It's like a big mountain. And it's so shocking to see that many people with me, including myself, couldn't hold the tears. So we really started crying like small babies. And it's quite interesting to say that men don't cry. Well, I've seen them in many numbers. It's touching on a very emotional part of the human being that sometimes, as we are living in this fast-paced world, we don't always have the time to reflect and touch on this part of our well-being. And then, after I entered the mosque, I circled the big building for 7 times, as is described. We had to do one more task, and that was shaving the head. It was quite interesting that Wendy mentioned about the Buddhas that also are shaving their heads. And recently I was watching an episode of the Vikings where I saw that Christians also shave a part of the head on the top side. It's basically denouncing the world or showing that you are able to disconnect from worldly life. Again, this journey has opened my eyes and made me come closer to my God as a servant of God. Abdelouahid, who I am. Thank you.